I believe there is a misconception that all fly fishermen are stuck up and elitist, and that the barrier for entry into fly fishing is just too high for a beginner fisherman. I don't agree with this at all, and in this video, I'll show you how easy it is to get started fly fishing in Colorado, even on a budget. So a common question for beginners is, what do I need to buy to get started fly fishing in Colorado? I'm going to explain what equipment someone needs to start fly fishing in Colorado by talking a little bit about my journey and how I started. The most important part is the rod. You can't fish without a rod, obviously. There's a variety of different types of fly rods, but I'm just going to talk about the average fly rod with floating line that can do a wide range of fly fishing activities. For a do-it-all rod, you should start with probably a 9-foot 5-weight rod with floating line. The setup doesn't really matter for this video, but the point is, you don't need an expensive fly rod to start fishing. I'm pretty rough on my gear anyways, so I don't really like to invest too much into my fly rods. I began fly fishing in Iowa for panfish because I worked at the sporting goods department at Kmart, and one day we marked down all of our fly rods to $5 because they weren't selling, since no one in Iowa fly fished at the time. So I decided to buy one. So this thing is a Shakespeare Alpha XT Graphite. It's an 8-foot 5 or 6 weight rod. The reel was something I got for another $10, but for fly fishing, you don't even need the reel to be anything special, since you're usually stripping the line, and it's just there to hold the line on the rod for you. I've used it to catch sunfish, crappie, bass, and trout without any issues over the years. Basically, you don't need an expensive fly rod to start fishing. In one of my videos earlier this year, you can see my brother-in-law bring in a 21-inch rainbow on a $50 Walmart combo, so it can be done on budget rods and reels. The second thing you'll need are fly fishing flies. This is probably going to be one of the biggest expenses throughout your fly fishing adventure, depending on how many flies you lose. Filling up fly boxes will get expensive. The good news is that you could do it slowly, and I've got a video about which flies I think you should start out with, which I'll put in the description below. You'll also need a small fly box for these flies, but they are pretty inexpensive from a store like Cabela's. In my opinion, this is the bare minimum you need to get started fly fishing in Colorado. You can hit up the smaller streams near the urban centers like Boulder Creek, the Big Thompson, Fountain Creek, Clear Creek, Watershed Canyon, the Poudre. All these creeks are pretty small, and they can be fished from the bank without even needing to be waded in. I used to work in Boulder and would just keep a rod and tackle bag in the car, so I could stop by and fish the Boulder Creek after work for a couple of hours. This should be enough for you to experience whether you'd want to get deeper into fly fishing. Depending on your budget, you can build up your fly fishing equipment from that foundation with some of the following items. A tackle bag or vest will help keep all of your fishing gear organized. I've used vests, backpacks, and fly fishing packs. You can find this gear starting from $20 all the way up to hundreds of dollars. I like the packs since they are small and convenient while being able to hold all your gear, so you can just grab it and go when you go fishing. A fishing net really helps if you begin catching fish bigger than 10 inches. If the fish are small, it's pretty easy to grab them and unhook them. But if they start getting bigger, it can be a challenge to land a fish without a net. So go and get one. Silicone nets are the best for landing fish without injuring them and protecting their slime coat. Now for the part everyone associates with fly fishing, the waders and the boots. I haven't talked about these until now because I don't think you need them when you're just starting out. As I said, you can start out fishing smaller streams where you aren't doing much wading anyways. Also, if you're fishing in the warmer months, it's pretty refreshing to just wet wade in your shorts. The instances where waders and boots are required, in my opinion, are if you head out in the colder months, or if you hit tailwaters and some alpine lakes where the water stays cold year-round. In these cases, I've used expensive and cheap gear, both with good results. But for the summer months, I like waist waders more than chest waders, just for the comfort and for staying cool. I usually only wear my chest waders in the winter, and that's because they are thicker and warmer, keeping me more comfortable. I do own good wading boots just because I like to do some hiking while wearing wading pants, and comfortable boots are really required for that. But you could find these for under $200. So that's the main equipment I think you need to begin fly fishing. You could totally go down the rabbit hole and invest a ton of money into this hobby, but the barrier for entry is not any different than it is for spin fishing. Don't let the image of the fly fisherman the industry has created hold you back from going out, enjoying Colorado, and trying a little fly fishing. See you out on the water. Thanks for watching.